Hi, welcome everyone. We'll get started in a minute. So if you are joining us live, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and let us know where you're coming in from. And I know it's the 4th of July week, so I don't know how many we're going to have show up live, but that's okay. We'll have it on the replay and you can listen to it then. All right, Texas, welcome. And Laurie, where are you coming in from?
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, sorry, Lori. Yeah.
North Carolina.
Okay, awesome. Well, we will get started. Hi, I'm Lisa Shaughnessy, the host of the Writing Retreat Sampler, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 3. Who do we have? We have somebody from, I'm going to put my glasses on for a minute. Oh, Lavanya from London. Awesome. Welcome.
Wow.
If you are looking for a beach retreat in the off season, you're going to love this episode with award-winning author Lori Hayes introducing us to her Catch the Wave writing retreat. Lori, thanks so much for being here with us today. I'm really thrilled to have you here and to be chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll cue up the slides here. So before we get to the interview, I'll go over just a few housekeeping items. The chat box seems like people have found it. Is the symbol at the top. So you obviously chat one. And it will be open during the presentation. We won't stop to answer any questions, but if you have questions that you want to make sure that you don't forget at the end, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll catch them when we do the Q&A at the end of the presentation. And when we do the Q&A, we'll use the Q&A function, which is just below the chat symbol. It has like a little Q bubble and a little A bubble. So we'll use that at the end for that. So I hope you're looking forward to hearing more about the Catch the Wave writing retreat, as I am. And if you want to show your appreciation with some emoji bubbles down at the bottom, there's a, oh, awesome, thank you. Always good to see that. Get some good love from there.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Okay, Lori. Well, let's just start off with you telling us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so I started writing in about 2009, 2010. And the best thing I did was join a writers group, which is called Romance Writers of America. And they had a spinoff chapter in North Carolina in Raleigh. And that was one of the best things I did because there were a lot of seasoned writers in that group that were published traditionally. And they poured so much into us. And once a month we met, and they always had workshops teaching us about plotting or dialogue, just you name it. And then we also had some connections to editors and agents. And that catapulted my writing career because I really don't think I could be where I am today without that influence. And so after I've been writing for a while, I have 8 books actually published. I do more hybrid publishing. I started out with self-publishing and then I went into traditional publishing. So I also had one book that I pulled down. That was my first book because I didn't have instruction. It was before I joined the writing group and I had no idea about plot. So I ended up having to pull that off. And then I have also 2 books that are one's almost finished and one is finished. And we're actually submitting it right now, trying to find a publisher for that. So I guess that's why I really wanted to start writing retreats, because I want to give back to the community, because it's so important to be able to ask questions, to seasoned writers, because otherwise it's a solitary, career. I sit at home, I'm writing full time now. I quit my job a year ago, January, and to write full time. And sometimes the 4 walls just kind of close in on you. And we're going to talk more about community later, but community is what sells your books. Books don't sell books. So whenever you see all these books being advertised on social media, you'll be able to sell some of them, but if you go into a bookstore and let's say Barnes and Noble, and you have your they usually don't have your book forward facing unless you're a local author, but if it's side facing, you have 1 inch to see somebody's name, and to sell that book that way is difficult, and online as well. So
Yeah.
what I'm learning is that it's community that sells books. Like if you wanted to go into a bookstore and you wanted to find John Grisham, you're going to ask them, hey, where can I find John Grisham? That's because his brand has sold himself and he has community. It's not the actual new release that's selling itself. So I wanted to give writing retreats so that I can help you build community and other writing peers. And when last year, when we had my writing retreat, none of us knew each other. And by the end, we all felt like family, and it was really cool.
Oh, I love those stories.
Thank
You know
you.
what? I love hearing that. And almost every writing retreat host I've talked to has said that people just come away from their retreat
Yes.
like friends and just starting writing support groups and
Mhm.
all that right after the retreat. So I
It
love
makes
hearing that. And I know that we will talk more about, how a writing retreat helps you, but
mhm.
I love this initially, how they're just a way to leapfrog your writing skills and get to that publishing phase faster.
Definitely. And if you had problems with your car, you would take it to a professional. You would take it to a mechanic. Yes, you could do it yourself and you could get a manual and try to fix your car yourself and try to problem solve what's wrong with your car. But, you're going to take it to somebody and have them help you fix your car. Or if you had a cavity, you would go to a dentist. It's the same thing with writing. If you want to excel your writing career, because the publishing world is confusing, and
Yes.
if you have seasoned authors there at a writing retreat for 5 days, you have them in a confined space that you can ask them questions.
Right. At any
Because
time of day, like at morning and
yes,
at breakfast, over,
yes,
over coffee in the afternoon. You're not confined to maybe a 1 hour Zoom call once a week or once a month that
yes.
you might have with a coaching or online course. You get them right there.
Yes, and I'm all about going to conferences. I've been to several big ones, like the Romance Writers of America, and you pay $50 to go sit in front of an editor or an agent for 10 minutes. And they've seen so many people, they're not going to remember you. And they might request your work, which is a great way to get in, and I'm all for that. But at a writing retreat, you have the 5 days where you can just sit and ask questions as they come up. It's
Yeah.
invaluable.
And I love to read testimonials like this about, that impact that the writing retreats have on people because it helps others see what they can expect from a writing retreat,
Yes.
which,
Well, back to
okay.
the testimonials, I mean, most everybody was saying it felt like family. It's actually, it's very worth your time and money and investment. And I had people come from Seattle to the writing retreat in North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee. So it was just amazing. And now
Wow.
we have community. We know people from all over the place. And in fact, I just took a 9-day trip in Seattle with one of the attendees that we just kind of hit it off and became friends.
Oh,
So it
that
does work.
I love that's awesome.
Thank you.
So awesome. So, we did talk a little bit about that, how a writing retreat helps you. We've been discussing it, but I want to go a little deeper on how a writing retreat helps the writers just reach that next level we've been talking about, or up levels their game, gets them to feel comfortable and confident querying agents, or when the time comes, maybe putting theirs out for commission to a publisher. So tell us more about this. So what are your thoughts around this?
So first of all, it's for women only. I have allowed males to attend during the day, but at night, in the evenings, it's just for females. And we as females give and give and give to everybody but ourselves. So dedicated time for self-care is so important. So I'm all about the self-care for the writer. So this is going to give you 5 days away from home as a mini vacation because you're on the beach. It's a beautiful house. And this is a way for you to prioritize your writing and your learning for your career for 5 days. And then also, there's a hot tub, so you can relax in the hot tub and make new friends and community, and eat delicious and healthy food. Because last year I had so much food. I had these. I thought ahead, and I had all these to-go boxes. So I was packing everybody to-go boxes to send home with them, and I still had to throw away food. We had so much to eat; it was amazing. And the food is included in the retreat.
Sorry about that. In my back, I completely, I don't know what happened. My internet said, no, no internet for you. Okay, but we're
So
back, right?
anyway, prioritizing yourself and your career, you deserve it. You give and give and give to everybody else, and this time is set aside for you. And
Yeah, I
so,
love that.
and my guest speakers are Jennifer Delamere. She writes historical fiction, and I'll talk more about them in a little bit. And Cindy, and they are both just very giving people, very knowledgeable, and they love to pour into everyone as much as I do. So it's a great dynamic team that we have this year. And like I said before, the only way to really step up your game and level up is by getting help and knowing what you actually need help in. And why reinvent the wheel, right?
Right. And my favorite part of it, shortening the learning curve. I mean, that's really what it's all about, that intensive time and effort and space where that's all you have to focus on. So, yeah. Well, and of course, we all want to attend a writing retreat for more writing time. So walk us through these points that you have here on writing. Like what is the really nitty gritty about write?
So at this writing retreat, I have designated times for the workshop, designated times for meals, and so that way you also have uninterrupted writing time, which is really important. So that I didn't want the retreat to be just all about workshops, because you're in this beautiful beach retreat with these gorgeous views, and there are so many nooks and crannies to write in this house. There are seats on the deck that overlook the ocean. The house is 3 stories, and I have a picture of the house to show you later. But it's they have this little nook and cranny, this little reading room downstairs on the first floor, and there's also a theater, which is where we're going to conduct our classes. And so, it's just important to have that uninterrupted time. And there is also a place out on the screen and porch off the first floor for writing. So there, as I said, there are all these little nooks and crannies. And then you have the actual living room that overlooks the ocean as well. So you can pick and choose where you want to write. So it's important to have that time to write.
Yeah. And like I said, these pictures already look amazing. Is this from the same house?
No, this is from last year. It was on Emerald Isle. But
Okay.
this house this year is even better. And it's hard to imagine, but it's even better than the one that we had last year.
Oh.
So I can't wait. And this is all the food. Oh my gosh. I mean,
I
it's
was
like,
gonna ask, is this what the guests can expect? All this delicious looking
yes.
food?
I didn't realize, but I have a knack for food. And and my mom, earlier when we were you had the page with the people commenting about the retreat, the recommendations. There was a picture of me and my mom was kind of like our retreat mom. And so she would help.
Oh.
In the morning we had continental breakfast, which, as you can see, it was in the top middle section, but we had all kinds of things to eat. That was just one little tiny portion of it. Anyway, she would set out the food for breakfast and lunch, and then we always have snacks. but for dinner, I get the dinners catered. So,
Okay.
and we definitely had leftovers, and you won't go away hungry. We kind of made a joke, and I shouldn't probably say this, but we made a joke about weighing everybody before they came to the retreat and then after. But we did do group walks and individual walks on the beach just to try to maintain our weight. But
Uh, well, we'll talk more about the accommodations at this beach house in just a minute. But first, we do want to hear more about your speakers that will be there, teaching some of the workshops and who the guests will be interacting with.
okay, so I've already introduced myself. However, I'm going to be teaching about, I have this technique to help you have your book practically write itself. It's amazing. And I used this last year, and everybody just complimented it and took home a lot of benefit from that class. So I'm going to teach that again. And then also, um, time management skills. I excel at time management skills because you have to, if you want to, if you're writing, if you're working full time, yeah, I was working full time managing children. I'm a single mom, just coming home after working all day and cleaning, what mess might have ensued, like from the time I got, before the time I got home, and then making dinner and cleaning it up and then writing when the kids went to the bedrooms. I excel at trying to do time management and figure this out so that eventually you can quit your job after you, hopefully, if that's your goal. And so we also talk about how I quit my job. So, and also another important class is marketing. I'm going to teach this, marketing yourself before your book is ever finished, because that
Oh,
is so important.
yes.
The agents will look at what your platform is on social media, how many numbers you have. If you've already self-published, they're going to look at your sales numbers, and it can keep you from landing a publishing contract. So I'm going to teach you how to develop your community and how to market yourself before you ever finish that book. So Jennifer Delamere, she's won many accolades. She was a finalist in the Rita Awards, which is a very prestigious award for the Romance Writers of America. She also had a starred review from Publishers Weekly, as well as the Georgia Romance Maggie Award for Excellence Award. So she is amazing. And I think she has 6 books out, maybe 6 or 7. I've lost track. And then she will teach you how to craft dynamic dialogue and keys to staying on track. And Cindy Patterson, she is one of the sweetest people you will ever meet. She's just one of these kind, Southern, beautiful woman who she just, I don't know, when she talks, you just love to hear her talk. But she also has won awards, and she believes in life-changing fiction and happily ever afters. She loves creating stories filled with inspiration, loved, and edged with suspense. And she will teach you how to write your own story, what your goal is in writing, and she will teach you how to delete the pages that aren't working for you.
Oh, so important.
Yes,
It's so
definitely.
hard though. We want to keep all of our pages. All of it's important.
Exactly. My publisher actually cut a funny scene out, and I love that scene, but they actually cut it out. So it's really helpful to know ahead of time what you need to cut out
Yeah, and why,
and
because you may
why.
think, "Oh, it's working but they'll
Right.
explain to you how it's not advancing the plot or how it might even be detracting from your story instead of,
Yes.
enriching it. But even though we love it.
Yes.
So, one thing I always ask the writing retreat hosts on the sampler events is what guests should bring to not just your retreat, but maybe a writing retreat in general. So, a mix. What would you suggest for your retreat as well as kind of any writing retreat?
Honestly, so I just said bring yourself. I have you covered with the food, the housing, the bathroom, the hot tub, the beach, the view, places to write. But bring just casual clothes, because this is a very casual event. I even had one lady last year, she would show up to the breakfast after breakfast, we had a workshop, and she'd show up in her pajamas, and I love it. It's great. That's fine. Be casual, and you bring your swimsuit and towel. There is a pool there, but it's not heated. So if you're daring, like last year, we had a couple of people do the polar plunge, but there is definitely a hot tub, and we spent almost every night in that hot tub. It was so wonderful, and it's outside, and you can hear the ocean. It's just beautiful. And bring your smile. So
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
that's all you have to bring, and some clothes.
Or just your jammies, but that's a testament to how the environment that you create. If you create an environment where people feel so comfortable and so relaxed that, they just show up in their jammies, that's such a testament to what you're providing as well.
Thank you.
So we talked a little bit about, oceanfront and the time of year, but so specifically, tell us more about the dates and where exactly it's going to be.
Okay, so it's November 11th through the 15th. It's on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, which is called Corolla. And you can remember the name because you drive a Corolla through Corolla. And there actually, if you wanted to spend some of your downtime, there is this quaint, cute little town, and it has the Currituck Lighthouse. And the wild horses that I write about in my books are actually in Corolla. And you can actually take a service that has a truck, and they will actually take you out there down the beach so you can see the wild horses if you want to. There's plenty of hiking. So it's just a really neat area. And then the house itself is 9 bedrooms. It has an elevator. And really, you should know that there are 6 steps to get up into the house before you can actually utilize the elevator. It's mostly for navigating the house because it's 3 stories. So 2 of the bedrooms are upstairs where the living room and the dining room is. And it's an open plan with all these windows. So you have this, 3-sided view of the ocean.
Oh,
It's beautiful. And it's very well maintained and gorgeous. You can look actually on my website if you want to see more pictures of the interior of the house. It goes for $31,000 a week during prime season, which is a big reason why I booked it off season. But so that just tells you how gorgeous it is, and it's within steps of a private walkway over to the beach. So
oh,
let's
okay.
see. Oh, I should say that they're all king master bedrooms, and they all have private baths and showers.
Nice. Wow, I think I want to just live in that house.
I know, right?
So what's the weather usually like in November? What can people expect for that?
Actually, another thing you should bring is some different types of clothing. So the North Carolina beaches are beautiful in November because the Atlantic Ocean is warm to begin with in the summer. So the water is still warm, as opposed to if you
Oh,
go in the spring, that water's cold. So that cold breeze comes off that water, from that water, and it can be chillier. But in November, the water's still fairly warm. And so if you get a breeze off the ocean, it tends to be warmer. Also, if the breeze is blowing the other way, the sand dunes will protect you. It's usually sunny. North Carolina is usually sunny in general, but it can get chilly, but then again, it can get really warm. So some days you actually might be in short sleeves, and some days you might be in sweatshirt or a light jacket. And just to say, I only own a light jacket, and I haven't worn it, like a light winter coat, and I haven't worn it in 2 years.
okay.
So I don't even know where it is presently. But so you just come prepared, because if it does rain, just maybe bring a rain jacket, or we can just stay inside and write and look at the rain.
There you
But
go.
so really the weather varies, but it's usually fairly mild. In fact, we're in our 90s right now, and when I went to Seattle, the mornings were 54 degrees and the evenings were 74. So that just kind of shows you how much warmer we are in general. So it can be anywhere from the 50s to the 70s in November.
Okay. So like I said, bring a range. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Lori, for taking the time to be here and sharing your Catch the Wave writing retreat with us.
Thank you for having me. And it was so nice to meet everybody. It was hard to read the comments because I was trying to look at you. But
I know. I usually save the comments to last, so I try to not look at them, and then we'll scroll through them in just a second. But I see you have your website here. But is there any other place on social media where people can find you and connect with you?
I'm on Instagram under Lori Hayes Author. I'm on Twitter everything's under Lori Hayes Author. Twitter, Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel. And the
Okay.
YouTube channel is Motivation by Lori
Okay.
Hayes.
Excellent. So now we will move on to the Q&A, and I'm gonna look at the chat as well.
Oh, you
So
can also email me at lorihayesbooks@gmail.com if you have questions.
okay, excellent. Oh, Florida. We have somebody from Florida here. Sorry, Lynn, I'm just now catching up with where everybody's from. So excellent. Well, we're so glad to have seen everybody. So we can use the Q&A session or the Q&A function. If you use the Q&A function and you have a question, we can actually bring you on stage so we can see you and hear you, and you can ask your question there. So it looks like, okay. So we do have a question from, we have two questions. Okay, so from Jordan, if I wanted to share a king size room with a friend, is that an option?
Yes, you should just email me. There would be a cost for the friend as well, but it wouldn't be an enormous amount because you would be having the room already. It would mostly cover the workshops and the meals. And I would have to figure out how much that would be, but that would definitely be doable.
Okay.
That would actually be a lot of fun.
Okay. So we have a couple of questions from Lynn, and I think Jordan's in the background going to help me invite her to the stage if she'd like to ask her question in person. So, well, first, how many people usually attend the retreat from Lynn?
So actual writers attending the retreat are between about 8 and 10, somewhere in there. And then we have our staff with the guest speakers and the retreat mom. So last year we had 12 total.
And another question about a shuttle from the local airport, and which airport is the closest?
Virginia is the closest, and I'm going to say it how you would read it. It would be Norfolk, but I believe the locals call it Norfolk.
So, yeah, Norfolk.
You're from Virginia. Yeah,
I am. Yeah.
So that would be the closest airport, and it's about 50 minutes from there. As far as a shuttle, I'm not sure about that. I know last year when we had people fly in, they rented a car. We might be able to coordinate if somebody else is flying into that airport. I'm not sure that they would have a shuttle per se.
Right. Oh, I didn't know it was so close to us. Oh, here's Lynn.
It's actually Corolla. If you go out onto the beach where the wild horses are, the line between Virginia and North Carolina is right there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the very north Outer Banks.
Oh,
but you do not need a 4-wheel drive to attend this event. It's before that area.
Okay. So, Lynn, where would you be coming in from? Where would you be flying from?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. Oh,
yes.
It worked.
Yes, we can hear
Orlando.
you.
When I was hooking it up, I lost everything. Orlando.
Okay. Oh, okay. So Orlando into Norfolk. Yeah, so you say, Laura, you think it's about 50 minutes or so from that airport?
Yes, and if you did fly into Raleigh-Durham, it would be about a 4.5 to 5 hour drive.
Oh, okay.
But that's a bigger airport. It may be cheaper, but
okay.
Yeah.
But what? I'm sorry. And what was the name of the closest airport? Was that the Raleigh Durham?
No, the Norfolk.
Norfolk.
I can't even say it like that.
Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia. Okay.
Norfolk.
Yeah.
For the most part, will we need a rental car, or can we just take a shuttle from the airport?
So I'm not sure that an actual shuttle will drive all the way down into North Carolina and on the Outer Banks. So
Maybe an
Okay.
Uber? Do you think? Do you
Okay.
see many
No.
Ubers out there? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. An Uber maybe, or some people rent a car. But if other people are flying into that area, into that airport, we might be able, if we know ahead of time, we might be able to coordinate so that everybody can ride down together. That would be nice.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So that makes me think, Lori, do you do any pre-retreat connecting? Like, do you have a Zoom call with all the guests, or do you have some kind of Facebook group where all the guests can connect beforehand? I know some
That's a
retreat
great
hosts do that.
idea. So I do have a Catch the Wave. I do have a Catch the Wave Facebook group that we all met in before, and we would chat. And I would also send emails, especially the closer we got. But I love the idea of doing a Zoom call. I will definitely do that. That would be fun.
Yeah, I know some retreat hosts do that. They get everybody just so people feel comfortable or get to know
Yes.
each other. Or like in an instance like this, hey, I'm flying into Norfolk at 3 p.m.
Mhm.
Who wants to go in on a rental car or an
That's a
Uber,
great idea.
whatever. Yeah,
Yes. And this is also
excellent.
very safe for introverts because
Oh, but
it's
aren't all
smaller and
writers
intimate.
aren't we all introverts? I feel like we all
I
are.
don't know. I have met some extroverted ones, but I think we all are.
Excellent. Okay. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to go back over to the chat, see if there's anything here. I think we're good. Well, thanks again, everybody, for being here, for showing up live, or for watching the replay. I really appreciate you supporting the Writing Retreat Sampler, and I appreciate you supporting Lori and her Catch the Wave writing retreats. And we'll see you out there on the internet somewhere.
Thank you so much. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.